I never thought I would feel so exposed at 72. Betrayal is not just a punch to the gut, it's a cold, lingering frost that settles in your bones. It wakes you at night. It shadows your every thought. When I first realized my family was scheming to take my orchard, I felt disbelief first, then anger, then a profound sadness I couldn't name. I've lived a long life. I've seen friends come and go, loved and lost, built and rebuilt my world. But nothing had prepared me for the way my own blood could turn on me. I kept replaying their faces in my mind, my nephew, who smiled like a sun and then whispered like a snake, and my niece, whose hands were always ready to help, now grasping for what wasn't hers. And then there was Arun, calm, steadfast, observing, watching, carrying a burden I didn't even realize he had taken on for me. At first, I tried denial. Surely, I told myself, it's misunderstanding. Surely, people don't forge documents and plot quietly against someone they claim to love. But the evidence Arun brought, it was irrefutable. Each forged signature, every manipulated clause, hidden conversations, they had underestimated me. They had underestimated Arun. And for the first time in a long time, I felt not fear, but clarity. I remember sitting in the orchard that evening, holding the papers, the smell of ripe mangoes heavy in the air, the sun setting in golden streaks through the trees. I felt a strange calm descend over me. The calm of someone who finally knows the truth, even if that truth stings. I reflected on all the subtle signs I had ignored, the whispered comments, the curious glances, the way my nephew insisted I needed help running the orchard when I had been managing it perfectly for decades. I had seen it, but I had dismissed it as my imagination.
If stories like this speak to you, consider subscribing.
Arun's presence changed everything. Not because of romance, not because of passion, but because he reminded me I still had agency. He reminded me that my voice mattered. And when he presented the evidence, I realized that trust could still exist even in a world of deception. That even at 72, I could feel seen, respected, and defended. I sat with those documents for hours, rereading them, feeling the weight of their intent, understanding the depth of my relatives' greed. And I understood something about myself too. I had allowed myself to rely emotionally on Arun, yes, but I had mistaken my feelings. I had thought they were romantic, something shameful perhaps, given my age. But now I realized they were human. They were gratitude, relief, recognition of loyalty, appreciation for someone who honored me when no one else did. I called Arun later that night, asking him why he had risked so much. He didn't hesitate. Because you trusted me, Kamlaji, he said. And when someone trusts you, you don't let them fall. It was a simple sentence, but it shook me. Trust, real, unselfish trust, is rare at any age. And here it was, presented to me as if it were the most natural thing in the world. That moment crystallized something profound. Relationships are not always about possession or desire. Sometimes they are about presence, about loyalty, about being a witness to another person's dignity. The days that followed were intense. I had to confront my relatives, and I had to do it with my own strength, not relying solely on Arun's protection. There were arguments. There were threats veiled as concern. There were faces contorted in the kind of anger that only entitlement can create. But I stood my ground. I remembered all the years I had survived grief, all the losses I had endured, all the challenges that had taught me resilience. And I realized that dignity is not something others give you, It is something you claim for yourself.
Stay until the very end. The last sentence matters.
Think about how society views women like me, widows, elderly, alone. There is an unspoken assumption that we are weak, dependent, and easily manipulated. My relatives treated me as if that were truth. But they were wrong. And Arun's presence reminded me that sometimes, support doesn't diminish your strength, it amplifies it. It allows you to see yourself as you truly are. I remember one night, walking through the orchard under the soft glow of moonlight, reflecting on the past decades of my life. I thought about the love I had lost, the friendships that had faded, the choices I had made for the sake of survival and dignity. And I realized that my attachment to the orchard, my obsession with preserving its legacy, was not just about land. It was about identity. It was about proving to myself and to the world that my life still mattered, that my decisions still counted, that I still had the right to feel alive, to feel relevant. Arun understood this. Not because I explained it, but because he observed, because he respected, because he acted without seeking reward. And that is why I decided to gift him a small share of the orchard. Not as payment, not as an emotional bond, not as obligation, but as acknowledgement. Recognition for someone who preserved my dignity when my own family tried to take it away. Giving him that share was terrifying in its own way. Letting go, even a little, of something you have protected your entire life is frightening. But I realized that letting go is not always loss. Sometimes, it is liberation. And sometimes, giving someone else a stake in your life, without demanding attachment, is the most honest form of gratitude. There were moments, of course, when my old fears returned. When I questioned whether I had made the right decision. When I felt the sting of loneliness creep back in. But then I reminded myself that loneliness is not emptiness.
Tell me what part moved you the most.
It is presence with yourself. It is a chance to rediscover your own voice, to feel your own heartbeat, to walk through life unashamed of your vulnerabilities. I thought about my relatives, their whispers, their manipulations, the way they underestimated me. And I realized something important: vengeance is not necessary. Life has a way of balancing itself. Their greed, their deception, their inability to see beyond their own desires, they carried consequences naturally. I didn't need to intervene beyond claiming my own truth. Arun continued to visit, bringing ideas, updates, and plans for the orchard. But the dynamic had changed. He no longer filled the emotional gaps of my life, he complemented the strength I had reclaimed. He was present, respectful, loyal, and distant when necessary. It was a relationship not defined by age, desire, or dependence, but by mutual respect and shared purpose. As I walked through the orchard one morning, sunlight pouring over the golden leaves, I reflected on the lessons I had learned. Life doesn't end because the body ages. Desire doesn't disappear, it transforms. Emotional awakening can happen at any stage, and courage is not measured by youth but by the willingness to face yourself honestly. I remembered the moments of fear, the nights of uncertainty, the days when I questioned my worth. And I realized that survival was never enough. To truly live, I had to embrace vulnerability, understand my emotions, and act with integrity. Arun reminded me of that, but the revelation was mine. The orchard itself became a symbol of my journey. Each tree, heavy with fruit, stood resilient through storms, through seasons of neglect, through years of care. So too had I endured. And so too had I blossomed again, not despite my age, but because of it. If there is one message I want anyone listening to understand, it is this: dignity cannot be taken. Loyalty cannot be bought.
If you felt something tonight, leave a like so I'll know.
And self-respect is the most valuable inheritance one can claim. You do not need the approval of others to validate your worth. You do not need the permanence of another to feel complete. Life, even late in years, still offers awakening, growth, and joy. I am Kamla Devi. I am 72. I have faced betrayal, temptation, loss, and temptation again. I have loved, I have trusted, I have guarded, and I have let go. And I am alive. Truly alive. The orchard taught me that. The years taught me that. Arun reminded me of that. And through all the chaos, the whispers, the plots, and the near loss of everything I valued, I learned that freedom, the freedom to feel, to trust, and to stand tall, is worth more than any land, any inheritance, any fleeting emotion. So here I sit, in my orchard, sunlight filtering through mango leaves, wind brushing across the ripe fruit, and I breathe. I breathe deeply, fully. I feel the pulse of life, the weight of decades, the thrill of surviving, and the quiet joy of knowing that I have reclaimed not just my orchard, but myself. And if my story teaches anything, let it be this: life doesn't end with age. Trust wisely. Love carefully. Guard your dignity. And never, ever forget that your soul can always be saved if you are willing to face the truth honestly, without fear, and with courage. I am Kamla Devi. And I am free.